My aunt died in 1948, and it's sort of a family mystery. I remember my mom telling me the story about her Aunt Miriam, and when she was a kid, they would tell her that she slipped and hit her head in a curb. So it sounded like it was a freak accident. But then kind of years go by and you start getting interested in your family history and researching about your family. It kept coming up. It just kept coming up, you know. She looked back and said, wait a minute, that story we were told about her slipping and hitting her head on the curb, that can't be right. There's got to be more to that. Well, my mother told me this story. I feel like it was shortly after my grandmother died and my mom collected all those records. And that was when she found the death certificate of Miriam, and the cause of death read homicidal assault, which is a lot different from hitting your head on the curb. We lived in a two-family house. My parents lived downstairs, my grandparents lived upstairs, and my cousins were always around. There were 6 grandkids in sum total. I was the baby, and I was extremely close with my grandfather. He taught me how to ride my bike, tie my shoes, bluff at poker, and bet on the horses. He was quite the character. She just said that he had to identify her body, and when he came home, he was so angry. So they were not allowed to talk about it. They were not allowed to bring it up. The one thing that always got me was she said my grandfather was angry at God. Just that little piece of information to me shows what a huge impact it must have had on his life. He always told you how he felt and how he saw things. So for him to not talk about this particular thing, I think, shows how upsetting it was for him. This is still a cold case. There's no resolution to it. One of the things my grandfather did say was he and his brother went to the place, mystery place where it happened. He said it was a bar, so I assume he walked into the bar and asked, you know, what happened? Does anybody know anything? And he said no one would speak. No one would speak to him. But the one thing he did learn was that his sister was gay, which in 1948 was not accepted. So that sort of changed the whole dynamic of what I was really looking at, what I was really looking into, and I wanted to know more. So I don't really know like what happened after that. It just sort of went away, which bothers me because she was alive. She died at 22, just at such a young age. To die like that, for it to just be forgotten is not okay with me. The more I keep digging, the more things I'm uncovering, I think that this wound up being a hate crime. But I think there's a bigger story there to tell that I think people can relate to. My name's Ann Coldridge, and I'm trying to figure out what happened to my great aunt Miriam Ryan, who was killed in 1948, and her case is still unsolved.